afternoon, folks. We're going to go with our second YouTube video here, and I saw online that somebody was having trouble with an under frequency into code 14 in their Onan 7000 watt gas generator. So we're going to show you how to adjust the electrical frequency in the back. It's a pretty simple process. You need 10 mil wrench, and you'll need some sort of voltmeter, multimeter. You don't need anything fancy. I just have a problem with buying very expensive tools, so I'll put a link to a cheaper one on find on Amazon. A couple bucks. You just need something that reads hertz, and all you're going to do is start your generator, or at least I'm going to show you at first what's going on. So we started the generator. Just stick your multimeter leads in an outlet, set it to hertz, and we're going to go to the back of the van. So it's going to get loud while we're back there. I'm assuming at this point your generator probably does not run. Mine does. So I'm going to intentionally break it and then hopefully fix it before tomorrow's grooms. So I'll meet you in the back. It's going to be kind of loud, but I'll do my best to shout and explain what's going on. Alright, so we're at the back of the van, the generator is running. What you're going to be looking for is this screw right here. If you're getting an under frequency or an over frequency, you're going to have to loosen or tighten that bolt. So the gentleman was having it was over frequency. So I'm going to try to force ours to have an over frequency, and then we'll fix it. So let's see if I can break the generator. And if you watch that number on the multimeter there, you want around 60, but we're going to try to speed it up and see if it'll trip on a 14. All I'm doing is tightening that bolt. You can see it's starting to really creep up there. You hear the generator getting louder. About 65, 66. I don't know if it's going to do it. Let's see if we can force it. Alright. So, there wasn't enough adjustment on the screw, so I just had to give it a little more gas and speed the engine up a little more. So what's happening here is this is essentially like the gas pedal in your car. So if you're driving on the highway at 60 miles an hour and you come up to a hill, you gotta add more gas to get up the hill and maintain 60 miles an hour. Same thing's happening with a generator. So the generator is supposed to run at a certain speed. Once you start turning on dryers, air conditioners, and you have all that stuff, it becomes harder to spin the actual alternator portion of the generator, the part that generates power. It's harder to spin, so the generator has to work harder. So instead of us having to stand in there and physically adjust this every time we turn something on and off, this is your governor lever. It does that automatically for us. So we've got a code here. Let's see what we get. 1, 2, 3, 4. So count again. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So we got a code 14. So let me see if I can bring up, if I was better at this, I'd be able to give you guys an on-screen of what I'm actually looking at, but we're just going to zoom in and show you guys. I don't even think you were looking at me. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but code 14, over frequency, which I believe is what that gentleman has. Hopefully, if not, this video is going to be for pretty much nothing. But it tells you to check all this stuff. You know, gasoline vapor lock in a gas model, verify the altitude setting, which is this guy right here, which once you have that set, that really shouldn't move. I think the issue he might be having, unless he's got something else going on, some sort of catastrophic failure, which didn't really sound like, because it sounded like the generator was starting and running. and then would just shut down on this over frequency. It only had 1,500-ish hours on it. I believe just all the parts got broken in and worn in after been running for about 1,000 hours, and I think it just needs an adjustment. So we'll start the generator up again and see if it shuts down on an overfreak. So we'll bring up this page again, and we'll try to start it. There, look here. It takes a minute for it to start producing electricity. Wait for it. Wait for it. Let's see if it shuts down by itself. I don't think it's going to. I got the trick again. So same thing. So there's the code 14. The way ours is set up, I don't have enough adjustment to screw that all the way up to force it into an over frequency, but you get the idea. So now at this point we're just going to set it back to where it should be. There's part of this procedure where it has you tightening and loosening a screw that's back in here. You're probably not going to be able to get to that, but that's okay. Hopefully you don't need to adjust your idle speed, so we'll just go ahead and adjust this speed bolt. Actually, it's really hot, so don't put your finger on it and touch it. But we'll get that adjusted, get this back down to 60 hertz, look at the rest of the procedure for adjusting frequency, and go from there. So, all you're gonna do, take your wrench, put it on there. If you don't have a fancy ratcheting wrench, you can just sit here all day long and slowly unwind this thing. It's 10 mil, so hopefully you've got one of those laying around. But we're just going to sit here, throw my wrench, because we're doing this with one hand. So maybe I can get you guys set up, get you look in that general direction, and use two hands, because that would make this job go much easier. So all I'm going to do at this point is just back this off a handful of turns. And then I'm going to try to start it. And if it starts up and then shuts down again and you get a code 14, back that bolt off a few more turns. And then just keep trying it until you can get the generator to stay running. Once the generator stays running and it's producing power, then you can fine tune adjust it. So that's what we're going to try now. So we'll fire it back up. We'll wait for it to start producing power. So we're at 62 to 63, bouncing around. That's a little too high. So we want to keep backing this off. And we're just going to keep loosening that until that comes down to about 60. And we'll let it stabilize. So as you can see, it jumps around a bit. We'll go inside the van and we'll talk about the procedure where it's a little quieter. So, if I can set this somewhere up where we can all enjoy it. And let me find the page. So, going back up here to the top. That's not what I wanted to do. Keep coming up to the top. Find the index because I suck at this and I should have saved the page for you guys. Fuel system, maintenance, engine. I think I passed it. Crankcase. Mechanical governor. Alright. So, here's the whole procedure for adjusting that properly. We all have most of us, all of us should, have 120 volt generators. You want it to be somewhere around 125 to 112. You want your no load frequency to be 62, 63, somewhere there. So, no load meaning the generator's just running and everything in your van's off. Heater, air conditioner, dryers, everything's off. It's just sitting there idling. You can have the lights on. It's not really a whole lot. So we want to set that to 62 to 63. You don't really care about that portion. Adjusting your governor. So this was that screw I was talking about that you're probably not going to be able to get to, so hopefully you don't have to adjust that. That's the bolt that I was back there messing with, the speed adjusting nut. Warm up your generator, and then adjust the frequency as close as possible as that table 11. So you come back up, there's your table 11, 120 volt generator. We want it to be around 62 to 63. As you can see right now, we're only at 61-ish, so I feel like that turn was a little quick. So let's go back outside and speed that up a little more. Set back down, we're at 61. I lost the page. Apologize, this is going to be a terrible video because it's loud. Mechanical governor. 62 to 63. So we can see up in that little corner we're at 61. We're going to go ahead and tighten this some more. Tighten that up until we get to about 62. All I'm doing is just tightening that bolt now. Another couple turns. See, we're sitting about 62 and a half, bouncing around a little bit. That's good enough for governor. So we've got our initial setting done. Come back into the van where it's quiet, and we'll bring up the maintenance manual again. Service manual, whatever you want to call it. So try not to turn you guys as fast. So we've got the 120 volts. We've set it at 62 to 63. That's the bolt we were tightening the bolt to speed it up, loosen the bolt to slow it down or lower your hertz. So we've adjusted it, kept it from shutting down. The engine's warm. We've removed all the loads. This is the part we're not going to be able to do, idle, throttle stop. Unfortunately, that is what it is. But at least this portion should be able to get you going. If you're having this under frequency or over frequency issue, you need a 10 mil socket and a multimeter, and hopefully you can at least get that adjustment set back down to where it won't trip on an over or under frequency, and then finish your grooms, or at least get scheduled with a mechanic, have them look at it later. You know, if it's a week out, you're not down for a week waiting on that. So bump the governor arm to see if it's going to change, connect to rated load, yada yada yada, a bunch of stuff, and then you want to start turning things on and off. So it's a big long procedure. I mean, at this point, if your generator is running, really what you want to do is you want to come in here, turn stuff on, and I'll show you what the frequency is going to do. It's going to jump all over the place pretty good once you start turning stuff on. There's both dryers. If you look, it jumps quite a bit, especially when you turn stuff on and off. I'll show you again. Once you kick it on, it jumps up there for a second and dials back down to 60. So we'll also go ahead and fire up our vacuum. I'll turn that on and you can watch it jump. Turn off the vacuum, turn off the dryer. You want to make sure it comes back down to that 62, 63 range. We'll go ahead, we'll crank the air conditioner on now. Still hanging out about 62, that's good. We'll fire up a dryer. Still holding 60. Same. Turn the air conditioner off. Turn the dryer back off. It's hovering back around 62.5. So it's a pretty simple and quick fix. It's annoying because your generator will continue to shut it down if for some reason it's gotten out of adjustment. All you need is a 10 mil wrench, and we'll shut the generator down. We'll go back, sit down, and talk about some other stuff. See you in the back. So I apologize, that was loud. No real good way. Damn, that's hot. No real good way to show this when it's quiet. So essentially what's going to happen, whether you're out grooming or you show up one day and you go to start it and it just keeps failing on a code 14 or a code, I don't know what the other one would be. Let's see if we can find it real quick. That was what, over frequency. Let's see if we can search under frequency real quick. Under frequency. Yeah, so in that page I was showing you in the service manual, bring in, try not to give you too much vertigo. That page we were looking at telling us how to adjust this. 14 over frequency, that's what that gentleman had, or 15 under frequency. So that's the other issue that you can fix with this procedure. So he has an over frequency. So what you're going to want to do is loosen this nut. So put it on there, turn it, righty tighty lefty loosey. Essentially you want this to become longer. You want it to drop down if you have an over frequency. If you have an under frequency, that means this is too far down. So you're going to want to tighten this screw to raise this up. You want to see more threads. Whichever one you're having, if in his case, he starts it up, it dies a few seconds later. You saw that in the video when I started the generator, it read 0 for 30 seconds or so. It's because when the generator starts, it's not actually producing power yet, and that's when you'll see like your lights may still be flickering when you first start up a generator, and then all of a sudden they'll get brighter. That's when it actually starts producing power. So that delay where his engine's running, and it seems like everything's fine, it's because it hasn't produced any power yet. Then once it produces power and it realizes it's producing power over 60 hertz, it's producing 70 hertz of power frequency, that then it realizes there's a problem. That's when it shuts down. So when you have the issue that the generator keeps shutting down and you can't run back and forth, just come back here, loosen that bolt, go 3 full turns, start the generator again, wait, see if it fails. If it fails again for an over frequency, loosen the bolt some more, and just keep doing that same process. Start it, shut itself down, loosen the bolt, start it, shut. Keep doing that until it stays running. Then once it stays running, then you can come in here and fine tune, and you want to get to that 62 to 63 hertz with none of your equipment on. Just the reverse, if you get an under frequency, it means the generator's turning too slow. If you keep getting a code 15 and it starts up and the engine runs for a few seconds and it shuts down, you keep getting a code 15, come back here and tighten that bolt and raise this piece up. You want to pull on this more, and what that's doing is it's pulling up on the arm. So it's a pretty simple fix. hopefully he doesn't have anything else wrong. I don't know anything about that generator. It's relatively new. I mean, it could have some sort of catastrophic failure, but the fact that it's running for 15 seconds and then shutting off seems like it's a governor issue. It's an adjustment issue that just went out. I think it says somewhere in here, excuse me, that there's other things to check for, like your valves being out of adjustment and all that. I wouldn't think that if your valves are out of adjustment that you would have an over frequency. If your valves are out of adjustment, your engine's going to run poorly. So I would expect, an under frequency. But I hope he gets his generator back going soon. And if you guys can think of anything else you'd like to see, wintertime's coming up. We're probably going to go over the vans and look at them. I can make videos. I'm willing to come out here and try to break ours and then repair it to help you guys out. So if there's something you're interested in, let me know. Have a good one.